Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight jury, while I ponder, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door.
"'Tis some visitor tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more."
Ah, distinctly, I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the more, vainly I had sought to borrow from my book surcease of sorrow from the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here forevermore, and the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple certain filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now to still the beating of my heart I stood repeating.
"'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late night visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. 'Tis this and nothing more."
Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating no longer.
"Sir?"
Said I.
"Or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you."
Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave me no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word Lenore. Merely this, and nothing more, back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping, something louder than before.
"Surely,
Said I.
surely that is something at my window, Gladys. Let me see then what there it is, and this mystery explored. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explored. 'Tis the wind and nothing more."
Open here I flung the shutter, when with a many a flirt and flutter, and there stepped a stately raven of the stately days of yore. Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, and there stepped a stately raven of the stately days of not least obscene may he. Not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mind of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more than this ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling by the grave and stern decorum of countenance it wore.
"Though thy crisply shorn and shaven thou,
I said.
art thou so craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient, raven, wandering from the nightly shore, tell me what the lordly name is, on the night's Plutonian shore."
Quoth the raven.
"Nevermore."
Much I marvel with ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little reverency bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing.
What the lordly name is, on the night's Plutonian shore.
Quoth the raven.
"Nevermore."
Much I marvel with ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little reverency bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculpture bust above his chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the plastic bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul and that one word he did outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered.
Other friends have flown before. On the marrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before.
Then the bird said,
Nevermore.
startled at the stillness broken by reply, so aptly spoken,
Doubtless.
said I.
What it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his song one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that lacking burden bore, of never, nevermore.
But the raven still bilging all my sadness soul into smiling. Straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird, and bus and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to blinking, fancying into fancy, thinking what thinks ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore. Thus I sat engaging, guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl, whose fiery eyes now burning to my bosom's core. This more I sat diving with my head at ease, reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er. She shall press nevermore. Then methought the air grew dissonant perfume from the unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkle on the tuffed floor.
Wretch,
I cried.
thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee respite and nepenthe thy from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, O quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore.
Quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
Prophet,
Said I.
thing of evil, prophet still, of bird or devil, whether tempt is sent, whether tempt is tossed. Thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted. Tell me truly, I implore, is there balm of Gilead? Tell me, I implore.
Quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
Prophet,
Said I.
thing of evil, prophet still, of bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we bore adore. Tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aden, it shall clasp and a Satan maiden, in the angel's name Lenore, clasped by rare radiant maiden, in the angel's name Lenore.
Quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
Be that word our sign of repenting, bird or fiend.
I shrieked, upstarting.
Get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie that soul that has spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy break from out my heart, and take thy form off my door.
Quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
And the raven never flitting, still sitting on the violet bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of the demon that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming through throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the door shall be lifted.
Nevermore.